one thing that is not clear to me yet, from an outsider perspective, is what is a Hong Konger? And this is something that me and my friends, local friends, love discussing.
Hi everybody, welcome to a new episode of Smart Talk. My name is Stefano. Before starting our show, please remember to subscribe to our channel. Today, we will talk about self-identification issue in Hong Kong with an international perspective. And I'm very honored to have with me two guests. So, RJ.
Hi, I'm RJ. I'm a third-year PhD candidate at the School of Communication at Hong Kong Baptist University. I'm from the Philippines, and so far, so good here in Hong Kong.
Okay. Alris?
Yeah, hi everyone, my name is Alris. I study business at HKUST and I just graduated, and thank you for having me to the show.
You were basically born and raised here in Hong Kong, right? So how did you feel about the social unrest of last year, especially because the majority of the participants were like locals, youngsters like you?
It's the first time that I ever felt my life would be threatened just by something that I say in Hong Kong. And it's super ironic because Hong Kong is a place with freedom of speech, right? So I never thought my life would be threatened by something that I say. And I really do feel the peer pressure because, like you said, people at my age, pretty much everyone, the majority are super aggressive and I don't even know if passionate is the right word, but they're super passionate into the current issues. And at some point, if you're not posting about politics, if you're not talking about politics, you're wrong. You're, so-called a comic. Why aren't you caring about your society? And I feel like it became a trend that for some people who are not actually knowing what's happening because they don't want to be excluded, they just start to repost things. They just start to say whatever things that people are saying just to show that they're part of it. They're part of the trend.
And you were probably, I don't know, maybe scared because some of them were also quite violent.
I was scared because yes, it's not just because they're violent. Because I also found myself being not having the freedom of what I want to do. There was a time that there was a protest near my place, just outside my apartment building. I started to record things using my phone, and I was, shooting from behind. So I'm making sure that the protesters' face are not seen.
Yeah.
And then some protesters, although I don't understand Cantonese, I can perfectly make sense that they're saying, this guy is recording us. And some people started threatening me, so I just ran to my apartment building and...
Did you get hurt?
No, thankfully not. But I think that's the closest thing to getting hurt too.
And have you noticed, guys, that some Hong Kong young people have identity issue? Very recently, some of our audiences shared with us, in my opinion, a very offensive and biased video that intended to be satire for the Mainland Chinese students. Let's watch the video first. So RJ, how do you feel about this clip?
At first it came off to me as satire or parody, I think, the way the authors wanted it to be. But then as you go along deeper into it, there are some really overbroad messages that tend to generalize all the mainland students as all of them are like government agents or something.
Puppets,
Puppets. But these kinds of videos tend to alienate instead of letting everyone join in a conversation.
From what I observe, young people right now love complaining and judging publicly, even for matters that are not politically related. For example, YouTubers, they love to judge them, they love to comment really mean, insulting comments with a lot of swear words. I mean, by all means, give out your opinion, but constructive opinion. And if you don't like them, ignore them or give constructive comments. I really don't see the point of insulting someone.
So we can critique ideas, but not people.
Right. What do you think about the deep-seated conflicts behind the identity issue in Hong Kong?
One thing that is not clear to me yet, from an outsider perspective, is what is a Hong Konger? And this is something that me and my friends, local friends, love discussing.
Yeah.
Because there are certain things that I always hear in Hong Kong, like, you're an outsider. People would say, oh, the protest, but you're an outsider. So you don't really feel what we feel about Hong Kong. But to me, do I really count as an outsider? I'm very much part of what was happening, even if I wasn't actively participating.
Right.
My life was affected, and I wouldn't say love discussing about the politics of the protest, but I've gone so interested in it, and I wouldn't say that I'm an outsider.
A few times that I was traveling outside, and a few mainland Chinese asked me, oh, so where are you from? And I say Hong Kong. Oh, no, I think they're like, oh, so are you Chinese? Like, oh, 你是中国人吗? And then I just directly, I didn't say yes or no. I directly answer,
I'm from Hong Kong.
Yeah, I'm from Hong Kong, 香港来的. And then the next question would be, 那不是中国人吗? Like, then you're not Chinese. No, I didn't say that I'm not Chinese. Like, I'm proud to be a Chinese. It's just that if you exactly ask me where I'm from, I will tell you the place that impacted me the most, which is Hong Kong. And so back to the question whether or not it's a conflict. I feel like it's a conflict because people now do not accept gray areas, do not accept in the middle, either yes or no. So they're like, so are you from Hong Kong or from China? So do you love China? Do you love Hong Kong? Like, you know, it's either that or that, but in the reality, it's not that. So I feel like it's a conflict because people are making it a conflict.
So why so many students in Hong Kong like to talk about politics?
To be honest, I would welcome the opportunity that these students are talking about politics. Okay. So by all means, we can talk about politics. We can politicize everything, but as long as we keep it in a very respectful manner.
And I really think it's a trend right now. I mean, if not most of them are following the trend. That the trend right now is, as I mentioned before, if you're not posting about politics, you don't care about your society. It's wrong if you don't do this. And even now, like food could be a thing as well. Like they constantly post about, oh, I'm going to this, you know, so-called yellow restaurants, and if you accidentally went to a blue restaurant, so it's like, oh, why are you going to blue restaurants? Like, is it really necessary to put it into your really daily life? And also these restaurants, do you know actually what's happening behind them? Are they actually yellow? Or
or maybe they're just attracting people, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Back to the HKU campus video, I've noticed that there is one point. Puppets of an authoritarian regime, or Little Pink in Chinese, always being a negative impression imposed on those patriotic students from mainland China, or it's a label. For some students, their identity issue causes some extreme rejection of different values, like patriotism or even patriotic education, that for them equals to brainwashing. So guys, how do you see this prejudice over the mainland Chinese students?
To me, labeling mainland Chinese students as puppets of the regime, it's really an oversimplification who mainland Chinese students are. This issue of name calling is also real exclusionary. You know, instead of showing the mainland Chinese students this is Hong Kong, this is who we are, these are the values that we are treasuring, these are the values that we hold dear into our hearts, and this is what makes Hong Kong special. By resorting to this name calling, they basically just exclude all these mainland Chinese students and fail to win them over.
I'd like to comment on the brainwashing point. People, you know, will tell you to, you know, look into your mirror every day and tell that, oh, you can do it, you know, you're the best, you got this. Is that brainwashing? So the word brainwashing is really interesting and get us really thinking. Is it really a bad thing? And self-love as an example, I would think it's okay to brainwash us a little bit, saying that we can do it, we can empower ourselves. Maybe we are not as strong as we thought, but no harm thinking that we have the ability. So the brainwashing thing is a really interesting topic to think about.
But why do many people consider patriotism the same as brainwashing in Hong Kong?
Like, for example, in the Philippines, we don't call it patriotic education. But, you know, we do have some lessons at school, like you need to put your country over everything else. So nationalism, right? You need to love your culture. You need to protect your culture at all costs.
Since you are born and raised in Hong Kong, how do you see the patriotic education in Hong Kong personally?
I don't think anywhere should have, if you define patriotic education as like you have to love your country and all that, because that shouldn't be taught. That should be something that you felt genuinely. And just like your parents, for example, they never tell you have to love me, you have to love your parents, you have to repay your parents. They never say that, but instead they tell you how much they've done for you, how much, I don't know, money, effort, and time, all that they've given to you. And because you know everything they've done to you, you genuinely appreciate and be grateful for your parents, and you want to repay them. That's what patriotic education wanted to achieve, right? Like, I went to a few exchange programs funded by the government. Because of the exchange programs, I really know what's the relationship between China and the other countries. What have they done? What other people see Chinese. And I think the one part that strikes me the most is that how Chinese or Hong Kongers, they migrated to elsewhere, felt about China. There's one time I talked to a Hong Kong immigrant in Belgium, and then they knew about the Chinese culture more than I do, and they feel more associated to China more than I do, and they feel like it's their responsibility to do that because they're already not in the country. They feel like they have to pass this spirit on. So even though they're second generation immigrants, their parents immigrated there, even though they haven't lived in Asia before, they still feel the need to pass that on, and that's something that we never thought about doing in Hong Kong. And yeah, after these programs, when I get back to Hong Kong, I will start to question things and see, oh, how did we get here? And I think it's really beneficial for us. And those are the education that I think we need more in Hong Kong, instead of, you know, just patriotic education saying that you have to love your country.
And how should the Hong Kong education be improved?
Hong Kong students need to realize that they have so much resources at their disposal that many people from outside it don't have. Yeah. I came from a country where exchange opportunities is very rare, right? To learn about the outside world, you know, what's going on outside the Philippines, the opportunities are so rare. To the point that one of my professors in PhD told me, you need to stop thinking only from the perspective of your own country. Because the moment you go out of the Philippines, you're a global citizen already. So Hong Kong students need to take advantage of this unique position of Hong Kong because they can get so much out of it.
Right.
I'm not sure if it's related to the education, but to local youngsters, that they should always get off their comfort zone and don't be afraid to meet new people. Language barrier is a thing, but I think for most Westerners, or even for Europeans, for English that is not their first language, they're more than happy to discuss with you, even if you have, I don't know, so-called like broken English. So don't be afraid of the language, of the culture, and just go out and talk to them, because most of the time they will be more than happy to talk to you. I think there's little voices in their head telling them, oh, you know, they will judge you, they will criticize you, but no, like, no one's that free to judge that many people. So yeah, go out, talk to people, get out of your comfort zone, and try new things. You only live once, right?
This is the end of our show. Please, I want to remind to anybody who does not agree with today's opinion or with our previous opinion to challenge us and take part of our show. Thank you again, Alris and RJ. We have a slogan. We say, through dots we connect. Can you say for us?
Through dots we connect.
Yeah, through dots we connect.
Thank you again, and please remember to watch our videos and subscribe to our channel. Bye-bye.